temptations. You should not worry, as this is what we do in almost all countries. Government and parliament are held by old people, many of them spineless and easy subjects to manipulate. The strong and dynamic characters, on the other hand, took great care to develop their selfishness. We need such people in key positions because their appetite for both dirty business and the paltriness, anything to keep their prestigious jobs. We will only attain complete influence and control upon when we succeed to provide everything. We invented as a mere experiment communism. However, we noticed that some drawbacks and created tremendous tensions that could even enable some clearness upon reality. The communist system was appropriate for a certain period of time. It became ineffective later and even dangerous for our interests. When we understood this, we gave the green light for the political changes. Welfare shouldn't be a general condition, but we want to a certain stratum of corrupted people. We're going to support our interests without having the slightest clue about it. What I'm telling you now is top secret in Freemasonry. You shouldn't think that every member knows our mysteries. Access to our ideas and goals is only allowed step by step. First rank includes those who have newly joined our Masonic lodges. They are our daily workers. People belonging to this rank are particularly the newly rich and quite narrow-minded, pursuing titles, ranks, and social acknowledgement. Even so, it is absolutely necessary that they must be some of the political leaders, as we need to control the levers of influence. This is why we mainly try to attract to this rank professors, lawyers, doctors, inspectors, mayors, and certain businessmen. There are some selected clubs, such as Rotary or Lions, that give them the illusion that they belong to the high life of society, and therefore are leading society. Our main interest is to generate great differences between social strata. This means people who are quite rich or very poor, with no supportive layer between. This is how we maintain a general social condition that makes people believe they must face a continuous assault and ceaseless fight to earn their living day by day. This tension and anxiety will supply the fear element. As long as fear is there is no room for peace, consolation, relaxation, or spirituality. This is why we want to obstruct any path to good, harmony, genuine religious belief, which would damage our power and control. Religion, consider carefully what is going on in the world these days. Think of the race hatred, deviated secrets that, in the name of a unique but particular God. Think of the corruption and the cowardice of the Christian Church, the Orthodox vanity, and the Catholic manipulation. And indeed, it is still us who have directed these things backstage, particularly by the perverse intrigues and ideas implemented at the right moment in some key points. In exchange, give people the kingdom of the universal architect who can really take good care of them. You call him the Prince of Darkness. Now you understand that the first rank, the daily workers, has no access to such information that concerns the secret aspects of Masonry. The members of the second rank, however, can meet some of our international arrangements, so that if they should get deeper into the political and governmental agreements, they are given much more support by our powerful lodges. A 33rd degree Mason can stand for a basic figure. We tried to spread the idea that this is the peak of the Masonic pyramid. The second rank is but the beginning of the Masonic world elite. It is us at the peak of the pyramid, and we cannot be sued in court. There is no other state structure above us, the simple reason that we have graded almost all of them. We may show up in society, particularly by means of the inherited titles of nobility, or as great bankers. We always take care to stay close to the so-called charity actions, by means of some foundations that also belong to us. These foundations enable us to transfer large amounts of money under the color of legality and philanthropic goals. We control all money markets. Our real influence consists of the huge debts we basically force upon all governments. We founded two high financial structures, the World Bank and the International Money Fund, IMF. Our greatest success was getting the USA into debt, so that completely fall under the financial politics we arrange. Countries in bankruptcy is what we are best at, for we can thereby indirectly rule a whole people. We obviously fix and connect these strategies in advance by mismanipulation of international media, which also belongs to us. Every president of the U.S. is our choice. He must absolutely be an outstanding member of Masonic lodges. Most of the time, they belong to the second rank. You may be surprised, but it sounds so familiar to democracy. The concept itself is not worth a brass. It still is the most essential piece of gear of our plans. It stirs vanity to people and makes them crave for power. In fact, it only generates some sort of hatred and temptation, which makes for a great frame for manipulation. It usually leads to disunion, to downright conflicts between peoples in the world. The illusion of the free choice for every individual. Millions of different people so stressed and perverted their so-called free choice can be easily directed by different methods. Despite the highly charitable appearances and the moral values we polish democracy in, this actually hides the core we had started from, that we enhanced in time, hatred between fellows, the blind struggle for facile and inferior power, and the lack of unity. People joining together under positive and beneficial ideas or concepts is quite dangerous, for this is the only way for the masses to become really powerful in their action. This basically is the reason why we pursue the state splitting into different minorities. Our final goal is having the cultural and religious traditions vanish away in different countries, to the point where they lack power and individualization. Then they may be easily controlled in a unique governmental form, which will obviously be directed by our Masonic world elite. We strive to gather a herd of animals automatically responsive. You give them hay and water at the proper time and they will offer unconditional commitments. The real folk values and symbols must be evened out and even ignored. The new generation must be perverted at the soul and have their senses poisoned with false ideas, lies, and all kinds of alluring vices. We have mostly succeeded in doing this. That was quite easy for America, as they basically have no tradition at all. People need the conviction even of a false power. We maintain this idea of power in the Americans' mind, for it prevents them from revolting against the system that had offered them such comfortable idea of supremeness. Since they are less cautious, can be easily manipulated, the Americans can stand for the peak offensive in our plan to conquer the absolute power on the entire earth. Most of the countries fell into huge debts, striving to cover the military expenses, no matter that they are not involved in wars. We give them loans, but ask the government to guarantee them with many assets, mines, forests, railways, or several industrial fields that are quite important. This is the main way for us to gradually take hold of the country's wealth and control the people. Democracy cannot essentially exist in a proper way for the large masses of people in a heterogeneous structure. Would you know that it means a viable concept only for societies that have given beneficial direction, where people think and generally act in the same way, and who have a high level of consciousness? But this is not the case at all in modern civilization. The Christian church is one of our most dangerous enemies. Its influence is quite large, even yet, but we endeavor to decrease it as much as possible. In doing so, we particularly target the young generation, which we have to get unbalanced by means of our ideas. We mainly strive to give people the ideas of freedom and democracy, which the modern civilization is known to misunderstand and give improper use. In their petty existence, under their everyday worries, people even imagine that political leaders rely on them and on their opinion. Politicians therefore give people the impression that their opinion is a complete one. In fact, they only pursue a strong influence upon voters who must be urged not to their own necessities, but to the interests of the leaders. In case any resistant position may arise against the general background, the representatives must be eliminated right away. We generally proceed to disparagement by means of the media. We continue by satire to help stir people's suspicions and distrust. Eventually, nobody will ever give credit to such a person, since we display concentric, persevering assaults, often spiced with blackmail. The subject will soon feel forlorn, accused what he dared to write or say. We threatened, blackmailed, and he will also back on the courage invested in the beginning, for he now wants to get back his advantages. Sometimes he will even become our partner. This is the main drama we created in society. Most of the people are weak and cowardly. They are rather few to resist our attacks and strategies. However, such people obstruct our actions, and worse, they gain public consideration and help. This means unity and force in common goals, which is just what we are trying to block. Even worse is that some of these people are in groups observe very well-known esoteric techniques, which they apply in order to counter our actions. Some people who strongly oppose our plans do know the truth about us. Since the ordinary techniques of annihilation are not efficient in such cases, we arrange an artifice who chooses some venerable members, particularly among those in the second rank, and have them present to the audience by means of our controlled media some aspects concerning our organization. They have interviews, write books or articles, where some real inoffensive aspects about our structure and activities are depicted. The principle we follow in proportion is a quarter reality and 3/4 fake. Obviously, those true things are wrapped and adorned in lies, so that people shouldn't get too much of it and therefore quit investigating the topic. We are the ones to draw advantage out of this, for our enemies can no longer present the truth that we are already stated in a perverted form. Even if they try to deal with the other fields of our activity, we'll pose as innocent oppressed victims, and will also enjoy the support of some mature, influential people. This is why, in the last 20 years or so, we slightly started to come out on stage, stating bits of truth together with many other lies. We very well knew that repeating a lie would make the truth out of it in the long run and cause people to lose vigilance. We must give the impression we are helping people and that we support them in need and pain. We must therefore get people's confidence as much as possible in order to give the impression of a natural sequence of facts, namely a terrible world crisis to come, and so we'll erect ourselves as redeemers of humankind. We do own the financial resources to do this. Basically, the task is not that difficult, since the masses' vigilance is already weakened by other strategies that we have been successfully applying for a while. Everyday work routine, TV programs, structured so as to inoculate a passive attitude in people's subconscious with lack of reaction and discrimination, chemical food, drugs, and all kinds of diseases.